Hey everybody, it's John at aMTBer Products. This is the Chainwax Podcast. I'm getting the XC bike final dialed in with the tires and everything right now. I'm going to run. And I went to my old Instagram account, where it's just a bunch of pictures of my bikes, really. And here it is back in January of 2020. New chain on the Leubenscheiden. So this is the upgraded Leubenscheiden original formula, and I did a ton of XC testing with it back then. And then I ran that chain until January of 2023 and swapped it with a little over 6,000 miles on that chain. Here in 2022, I put some new tires on it, and that's pretty much where the bike is right now. It's still sitting in this condition right now. This is when I switched to an Icon 2.25 Icon? Or no, a 2.35 Icon in the rear. It really made it more comfortable. Back then I was using, that's a Recon Race on the back, a 2.25 Recon Race. And it just was a little harsh. It was very fast, but I will say the 2.35 Icon, I don't feel any loss of speed with this tire. So I've kept that tire as a rear since then. And so anyway, this is the bike I'll be riding right now with the weather getting hot. It basically, I've got quite an itch to ride the road bike all of a sudden as well. After a long winter, I had the knee injury in around Thanksgiving that lingered until about the second week of January. Finally got better. And then I got the flu. So it's been a long pause. And the XC bike appeals to me for a couple of reasons. One, this bike is like 24 pounds. When I built it up, it was 23 pounds, 5 ounces, I believe, or 4 ounces. And, I've changed the pedals, the grips. I've changed the cranks now. So it's about 24 pounds now, but it's fast. It's a very light bike with very fast tires. So what that translates to is I get to climb very quickly. It just sprints uphill like nobody's business. And then because you're moving quicker, you've got more airflow across your body, which keeps you a lot cooler in the heat. Right now today, I think it peaked at about 87 degrees today, which isn't too bad, but it's only the first week of spring. So I've been watching the latest stuff about tire technology and what's fast and what's not. And, all of a sudden I kind of have an itch to ride my TT bike again too. TT bike is great because you're usually using it on pretty flat ground. You go very, very fast for very little effort with that aerodynamic bike. And because I could pedal that thing at 30 miles an hour, that thing is an incredible machine. Getting down in that position with all the bells and whistles on it, super fast tires, carbon wheels, the whole thing is just super fast. And, you get a lot of airflow across your body, so it keeps you cooler, moving quicker. So these are the bikes that are appealing to me right now, of all things. It's just hanging out at the dirt jumps just doesn't sound very fun when it's 100 degrees. So once I get in shape, it won't be so bad. But for getting in shape, I'm going to be riding one of the road bikes, probably not the TT bike, but I'll probably get one of the road bikes going again. And it's been a few years, and then the XC bike will help make it a little less painful. So yeah, I did a lot of the testing on this bike. I did a lot of the development of the initial development would be the summer of 2019. Started working on the 5311. And then this was a first upgrade on the Leubenscheiden SL1, which is now our bike park formula. That's what it really was. It was our first ditch the crock pot formula, which now we just call it the bike park formula because it's really good. Your chain looks like nothing's on it. It looks like nothing's on it. The new, what do you call it? We have Darkmatter as our e-bike formula. A competitor came out with their Dark Energy. The Leubenscheiden original formula looks as clean as that dark energy dries, but it does give you the mileage. It does give you a lot of performance. There's a lot of neat stuff I did to the original Lubenschleiden to keep it a thin build, keep it fast, and keep it clean without having to put anything in it that would be outside the zone of what I wanted to use for ingredients. It's a very safe formula as is, and it hasn't changed at all since around this time. I might have made the tweaks during this testing, but this is when I did the 67-mile XC rides. On this bike, brand new chain, running those tires. And you can see here, it's more of the XC setup. I did have flat pedals on there then, but I had the carbon crank still. I switched out the grips from the foam grips to something a little more substantial. And the grips weigh a lot. If you want to knock a half a pound off your bike, put some foam grips on there. They weigh 8 grams. I think the set of these is about 250 grams or something. It's pretty heavy. They're heavier than I would have thought. So I switched to the turbine cranks just for the stiffness. They're much stiffer here, aluminum, just race face turbines. They're only maybe 30 or 40 grams heavier. They're not much heavier. Yeah, so I plan on doing some more XC riding on this one. Very fast, fun machine. That's the only thing about road bikes that appeals to me, is just the speed you can move for the amount of effort you put out. There's nothing that can beat it. I've taken my, let's see, it would have been my Domani. I've gone 70 miles an hour on that bike down Encinal. Let me think. I think it was Encinal. Right when you get to that trailhead down there at the bottom. That downhill, I've hit 70 miles an hour on it. I couldn't believe it. It's pretty safe area. There's some turns on it though, which makes it terrifying. But that is a pretty open area. The road was very smooth, and the appeal of the road bike is the speed. I won't ever do that again. There was no crosswinds that day. Got to push it as far as I ever did, and that was fun. I've come close. I've gone 65 a few times. But that was the appeal of the road bike to me, was the speed, the ease of climbing, the amount of distance you can cover. It's just a different experience than being on the dirt all the time. And so the road bike training that I started in 2014 really changed my life and fitness for good. Like now I know how to get fit fast using heart rate training and power training. Heart rate monitor is all you really need, and just do the zone 2 all the time. Do your intervals of sprints and sustained climbs in zone 3, 4, and 5. Get up to zone 5 for 5 minutes, and do a couple of 2 minutes at it, and the rest do a few zone 4s and zone 3. The structured training, it tells you everything you need to do, and it's got a prescription for you for the month. And once you finish that month or whatever the block is, you're changed. You are so much better than you ever were. If you've never done structured training before, 30 days will change your fitness. It's years worth of improvement in 30 days. So I did 6 months at a time and would take a little break. And it was one of the best things I ever did for myself ever as a racer, former racer. There's a ton of heart rate zone calculators online, and most of them get in basically a ballpark. It depends on your own fitness. My heart rate threshold was way higher than my age would determine. So there's an age, body mass. Let me think of what the calculation is. So there's a formula to do it. It's something like 220. The number 220 minus your age usually gets you into the ballpark figure. And then here's a list of if you do that formula. So like for me at 45 years old, the max was 175, but my max was actually 184 to 186. I've seen it. That would come up on my cycling computer all the time with a chest mounted heart rate monitor strap. So my max heart rate for 45 years old was about 10 beats a minute higher than that. So you can see I had the max heart rate of a 35-year-old at age 45 back then, just from all the years of riding bikes. I just naturally had a little better fitness. So now that's been 10 years now since I started that a little more. So now, it says the max heart rate is 165. I bet you I can get mine to 175 if I after a little bit of training. But whatever it is, it doesn't really matter as long as even if you use this chart here, if you use this formula here to find your age and your max heart rate, then you would do, your zones. You have to do the math on your zones from there. So basically what you do is you program all these into your cycling computer, and where you set your computer up to the zones that you think are what you're really doing. And most of the time you just want to be in zone 2, about 60-70%. That's basic endurance, that's burning fat. This is the best way to get in shape without killing yourself, is zone 2. And then when you're ready to do some structure, you can do some zone 3 and zone 4 efforts of say like 10 minutes in zone 3 uphill. So do three of those, 10 minutes uphill in zone 3. You're supposed to take about a 3 to 5 minute break between efforts and then continue. So it's a good half hour, almost 45 minutes of a zone 3 interval workout. And that's when you're going to get your it says aerobic endurance, muscle strength. And then zone 4 is when you're pushing it to 80-90% of your full ability. And that increases your anaerobic capacity. So that basically those are where you see the big gains in just how strong you become. So anyway, it's super fun. And zone 5, I've had rides where I was in zone 5 for 20 minutes. I won't do that anymore. As you get older, I think 5 to 10 minutes max. 10's a lot. To be in zone 5 for 10 minutes is a lot. So I would say, maybe 5 minutes in zone 5, maybe 2 or 3 times a week would be all you would want to probably do. Your heart is a muscle. You can overwork it. So, start off slow. I'm going to start off slow when I get back to the structure part of it. Right now, I'm just pedaling around in zone 2. So, when you add that kind of stuff to the equation of these XC bikes, which aren't, they're not that capable through the rough. They're not that, but they're fast on flat fire roads and flow trails. They're fast and fun. And when you've got big, long sections of fire road that are consistent, you can get these training sessions in, and it makes it fun. That makes the whole thing a little more fun. In addition to how light they are, you have this free speed with the fast rolling tires. They're super light for climbing. And if you add a little bit of this training in with a cycling computer, heart rate monitor type thing, you can really turn it into almost road bike training, just to make the XC bike a little more fun. Coming from a background of, doing jumps and stuff, that is. Sometimes I'd find myself a little bored out there. So the training definitely takes the boredom away. So yeah, having fun on bikes is something that I've been doing since I was a kid. This is what it's all about to me, is really having a blast on the bike. Every time you get on it, just have as much fun as you can. So the jumping bikes is a different kind of a thrill. It's fun to be in shape and then do this as sort of the icing on the cake. Just go to the dirt jump park once a month or once every week or something. And you can definitely get fit doing that. It is quite a workout riding all day. I've done some crazy amount of miles at the dirt jumps. I had the Strava going on my phone, and I wound up riding like 50 miles that day. I couldn't believe it. The little course up and back is only about a quarter mile, so you can imagine how many runs I did. So there's my endurance bike. That's the one that got me in some amazing shape right there, putting massive miles on that. It's the main bike I did all the initial chain lube testing on. Just a It's just a $3,000 endurance bike, a Trek Domani 4.5 SLR, I believe is what it was called. So yeah, I had just an itch to get back on this bike and just sort of do a bunch of Zone 2 on this thing. But we'll see. We'll see if I did. I'm still just pretty terrified of the roads out here. I know where to go to do it, but still, it's a big effort to pack up and take a bike somewhere to ride it like that. Can't ride this bike from my house. Just too steep where I live. It sure is fast. It sure is fun. This is taken out in Ventura. That was about an 80-mile ride that day. Or wait, no, this is at Westlake Lake. Sorry. And then I've got the aMTBer. This is a 14-pound climbing bike, super light. So I bought that for the climbs. The Domani is almost 20 pounds, and basically I destroyed the rear wheel. I was doing wheelies on it all the time. Blew out all the spokes on it. Took forever to buy a new wheel to get the new wheel on warranty. And I was wanting a second bike, so I did get the aMTBer. And this is actually the lightest production bike ever made back then. And here it is, awesome climb up Fernwood today, 90 degrees and a new PR. So that's basically when I was just getting into the big intervals of. So that's 2017. So yeah, so those are some of the bikes I developed the chain lube on. This looks like it's my SB100 the first day I got it. That's what it looks like. And, you know, all of this stuff was quite an effort. Labor of love, really. Never thought I'd ever be able to make any money at it. I just did it just for me. Initially, it was just, I need a chain lube that will get through these rides and not be a huge burden to maintain. Just don't have the time. Oh, here's a picture of David from Plant Power Racing up in the Alps. He's up in the Swiss Alps, I believe is where it is. Let's see. Well, anyway, this would have been the first bottles in Europe back in 2020. He was using the top-off formula back then to top off his road bikes, and you know, these kids would ride all day, train like pros, and they were literally the fastest kids in town back then. So here they are at Sea Otter, and these kids that guy won the world hill climb world champions. David there, all these guys were winning all the XC races and all the crit races in town. They were winning everything. It's crazy of how good they were. So a little flashbacks to the Sea Otter show there. And there's me with Seth from Seth's Bike Hacks there. And yeah, the SAG card was the first real labor of love outside of the chain rings. These things were an enormous project to produce, to get all the measurements converted to percentages and accurate to 3 decimal points. I took 3 calculators on my desk one afternoon to just get everything converted over and then draw it up and then have the artist do the computer work of it. It was all rounded off to 2 decimal points from 3. So yeah, super accurate way to set up your suspension. And they're still just $10 on the website. All right, I got a pizza going in the oven, and I'm going to tend to my dinner now. Thanks so much for watching. This will be a pretty short one, I guess. Maybe I'll paste this on at the end. But it's John from the Chainwax Podcast. Hope you give it a try. You'll find this is the cleanest, most maintenance-free chain lube you'll ever use. And Uber Clear is the one you want for e-bikes, and 5311 for road and mountain bike, all-purpose mountain bikes. Everything from XC to enduro bikes to downhill, everything. Gravel bikes as well. 5311 is for all your acoustic bikes. DÄRKMATTER is for all your e-bikes. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Have a good one. John at aMTBer Product.